Good morning. Hey, everybody on All Access Network Television. If you're not familiar with us, this is the Breakfast with Bobbi show. This is my lovely co-host, Bobbi Klebenow, who's the inspiration for this show. So, hi, Bobbi.
That's kind of scary, isn't it? That I'm an inspiration.
You are an inspiration. Oh, my goodness.
Thank you.
And that was actually highlighted on my other show, Paramystic Podcast, right? When
Yeah.
you were my guest, I think it was last week, maybe the week before. And we are bringing us now to All Access Network Television. For those of you who have not been familiar, we have had a show on YouTube on and off for a year or more.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure how long. I was going to check that this morning and then time got away from me. So I don't have the stats. Sorry. But here we are. We have joined All Access Network Television, and we're kind of an oddity in this crowd because we're not doing paranormal. We're not doing murder mystery. We're not doing unsolved crimes. So we are here to talk about whatever comes up, basically, right? So, yeah.
Casual conversation.
Yeah.
Hopefully somewhat meaningful casual conversation.
That would be ideal.
Sometimes it's not. And sometimes we just make it up.
That's right.
Which is hypothetically the beauty of the show.
Yes, it is.
I am grateful to be here. I am incredibly grateful to have been picked up by this network. And we have such a wide variety of conversation and subject matter. And we hope that we can offer something for everyone. And today we have a guest who, by the way, was our very first guest probably over 40 episodes ago.
Yeah.
A year and a half ago or so. And that came about. Bob Greenfield is actually my very best friend and person. You know, if something goes wrong with me and I need to talk to someone, I call Bob. He seems to have the answers, or at least make me feel better about it, or tell me that I'm off track or whatever. But he's such a wealth of knowledge, and being a businessman, and he was at one time my bowling coach, and we did a lot of competitions together, and of course formed this beautiful relationship. And I was sad when he moved from Milwaukee to Memphis, but it doesn't seem to have hurt anything in our relationship. He's one of those guys that you can contact him 3 years from now and still be at the same place. And he still loves me for everything that we do. So
that's awesome.
That being said, Bob Greenfield is here, and I want to welcome him.
Hey, Bob.
Good morning.
Bobbi, I'm verklempt from your introduction. It's true.
As well, you should be.
Like Bobbi and I talked last night just a little bit about the show, about what some of our thoughts about what we might be talking about today. And next thing you know, we're off on our usual zillion topics that we're on. That's just what we do. And I appreciate you so much for that. I have somebody like that I can call and that I can be just me. That's special. We all need those kind of people in our lives, and I appreciate you for that.
Well, thank you.
And I want to congratulate you guys on over a year doing this. Bobbi and I also talked about the success of your podcast and what made it special. To me, I just feel like when I was talking with you guys, like I know we were on, we were being filmed and everything, but it was like the three of us were sitting around a table conversing. It was that casual. It was that interactive. We all took turns listening and giving our thoughts. And I think that I'm hoping, and I think this is why you've been successful, is the audience feels that way. They feel like, hey, I could be sitting at that table, right? There's a comfort level there. There's a trust that you guys present. And, you guys are yourselves. Like, you're both your truest selves when you're doing this because you're speaking from the heart. And I am so honored and privileged that you guys thought to have me back again on your show.
Absolutely. We had so much fun last time. It made absolute sense to bring you on for our first show on the network.
Right.
Thank you.
Being our first guest the first time, and honestly, Bob was he was the reason that this was driven past where we started out with just you and I casual conversation. And he texted me and said, "Hey, I saw this and I want to be on your show." And I went, "Oh my, okay, then we'll do this." So being our first guest, I couldn't think of anyone else that would be so appropriate to be here on the first launching of this on All Access Networks. So thank you so much for being here. You are so special to me. I just can't even tell you. You're making me alpha killimed.
Yep. Thanks, you guys. So
Awesome.
When we talked last night, Kristina, a little bit, when Bobbi and I did, I had something I want to throw at you guys. So I don't want to steal your thunder, but can I kind of go there, or is there something else you guys want me to
That is what you are here for.
Thunder away.
Thunder away. Yes.
Okay. So I am generally a glass half full, very much a lover of life, feel blessed to have the opportunities and the things that I do in my life. I probably personally have never been in a better spot as far as all the facets of my life, my career, my relationships, everything. They're great. My son is doing quite well. I've got a couple of grandkids. I have all these blessings in my life. That said, given what I'm termed, what a friend of mine called the mass consciousness that we have going on right now in this world, there's a cloud for me. Like it's been hard for me to, at times, to dig up that optimism, to dig up those feelings of being blessed. Part of it's the winter. I just am not, when it gets cold, I have a little bit of that winter syndrome that a lot of people have, lack of sunlight and all of that. But I think it's bigger than that now. And, this isn't my first rodeo. I've been around the block. I'm not a young guy anymore, although I feel young sometimes. But there's this cloud. And I want to know, you guys are intuitive, you're energy people. What do you feel? And then I guess my bigger question is, like, I wouldn't mind a little advice on how to keep that glass half full view and how to not let it be overpowering for me, this mass consciousness thing that we've got going on that I think a lot of people feel.
Yeah.
So do you want to go first, Kristina? Or
no, go ahead, Bobbi. Go ahead.
So
I'm formulating, and you've already had this conversation. So,
quite honestly, after we talked, I got off the phone and I said, "What are we talking about again?" Oh yeah, that's right. So anyway, so you know what? Watching you talk and listening to you, I can tell in your voice that it is really, really has affected you very deeply, and it feels like it's really troubling. And I want to tell you first that obviously you're not alone. We all feel it. And for me, being as intuitive and energetic as, we practice every day, I can tell you that, honestly, I have had to really go inside with this and say to myself, how do I get back on track? Where do I go? And how do I start this? So I was out last night in the terrible weather and whatnot, and I realized that I, again, was off track. Thought to myself, how do I rebalance? I'm in the car in bad weather. And I remember saying to myself, I just ran into, and this has been around for a long time, for years, Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. That is probably the only thing that brought me back to center. And what it is you've heard everybody saying these days, be here now, focus on what you can focus on right here. I've had to plug in the CD and re-listen to it because it's so helpful. But when you recenter yourself and come back into your heart and think about only now, because if you're thinking about the past or you're thinking about the future, you're not here now. But if you think about now being here in your heart, there isn't anything else but happiness right here, because nothing else exists. That is about the most helpful thing that I've ever encountered. And I'm like, that is so powerful. If you can focus on where you are right now and not think about anything else, there's nothing else wrong, because you're just thinking about yourself and how happy you are here. So for whatever that's worth.
Okay.
I love that.
It was so powerful. It's so simple. But the thing is we are everywhere in our head all the time. Yeah. We're thinking about what happened in the past, how hurt we are about, whoever wronged us. And then, oh my God, what am I going to do in the future? What about the money? What about my career? What about all these people? What about my family? But if you focus that in and bring yourself back to now, there really isn't anything else.
But,
and then you focus on your breath.
But the now has the cloud for me. I do feel I'm a pretty good in the moment person. And I just feel this thing about the energy now that's out there, you know, and I know that the majority of us are want to be happy, and we want to do right by our families. Yes. And we really do have respect for each other. But there's this facet right now out there where it just seems of hate. And I don't mean to take this a negative turn, but you guys asked me to.
No, it's okay.
Of hatred, of pulling apart. And I don't know. I'm just kind of like, it fights against who I am and what I feel. And I'm just trying to work with it and kind of wonder how I can come back and say, everything's going to be okay. Focus on what you can focus on. I know all those things, Bobbi. I
yes,
get it.
Me too.
But it doesn't, I'm struggling with it, like I mentioned to you. And so I don't know, Kristina, what are some of your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts are I have to take it outside of myself. If I make it about me, then I'm focusing on my feelings. I'm focusing on a sense of helplessness. Like, what can I do in this great big mess that's happening on planet Earth? I have to bring it outside of myself. And I look to, like, I'm going to quote Mr. Rogers here, look for the helpers.
That's true. Right.
Look for the helpers. And that's how I do it. That's how I keep moving forward with that, because I'm looking for the helpers. I'm looking for the positives that show up every day. And there's this, God bless him, I wish I knew his name, but here's this young man on, I think it's TikTok, it might be Instagram, but he does the news in 60 seconds and he focuses on the positive. And he does that every day. And sometimes just like, I don't even know who he is. I don't know how to look him up. But when he pops up in my feed, it's always at a time when I'm getting sucked into the negative, right? When I'm feeling overwhelmed, when I'm under that cloud. Also, the other thing is I look to the other spiritual teachers. I look to the people who are doing astrology, who are doing Chinese astrology, who are doing, those kinds of things where they're looking forward. And right now, even though we've had our new year, the Chinese New Year is February 17th. And that's when the energy really shifts. So right now we're still in the year of the snake. We are still in watching the shedding and feeling the personal shedding. We're in that, but February 17th comes in the fire horse. And the fire horse is big and bold and moves forward very quickly and with precision. And so I just keep thinking, okay, so if on a personal level, what am I shedding? Working through that, working through what just keeps coming up for me, and connecting it to what have I not let go of in the past? Because after decades of therapy and working through all the old yucky stuff, what keeps coming up? And of course, if there's more to be shed, there's more situations coming up to shine awareness on what still needs to be shed.
I love it.
And that's where, that's where it becomes personal for me, is like, okay, this thing is happening. These are the feelings that are coming up. What have I not let go of? What am I still focusing on, even at a subconscious level, that is still keeping that cloud over my head? Am I doing it perfectly? Not even close, but I'm doing it with awareness. And for me, I think that's the difference. I'm just paying attention to what am I doing that's helpful, first of all, in this whole global disaster. And for me, that's at an energetic level. I'm not someone who goes out into the crowds with signs and protests. It's not who I am, but I am an energetic supporter. I am someone who encourages people. I'm someone who does my part at the level that I can do it. Right. So when I focus on that and knowing that this shift is coming, and taking the good bits that come along, even I don't watch the news. I have not watched the news in years, not on purpose. If I happen to be somewhere where it's on, then I try to ignore it, but I don't watch the news on purpose. I prefer to, I'll catch the headlines. And if I feel like there's information I need to know in there, then I'll read it. But other than that, I don't allow my brain to be barraged by all of that all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't do it. And everything seems to be so much bigger and badder. And I'm not saying it isn't big and bad. It is. But we remember when we only had news at 6 o'clock.
Right.
Yeah.
Now it's 24/7. Like, there's, you have to actively avoid the news.
Right.
Yes, that is true.
And
Instead of
hey,
search
Al,
for it. Yeah. No,
yeah.
So to bring this back a little bit, I know that you mentioned, what about it? What is going on now? So the purpose of being here now is not thinking, because if you really want to examine it, what you were talking about is something in the past of what has already happened. Is it happening now inside of you right now? Not really. If you focus on this moment right here and take a breath, it is all you just right here. Because the things that you were thinking about were in the past. May have been 2 minutes ago, but it was still in the past. So again, go ahead.
I was just going to read what one of our listeners put down. My friend Al Cooley, who is just an amazing man. He's been a guest on my other show. And he said that I ground myself first, can't control the hate in others.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it, guys.
Yeah,
See?
that was very helpful.
Well, you came to the right spot, Bob.
I did. So let me ask you guys, okay, so you both work with clients, right? Obviously, in what you do, and you do things a little different way, but I mean, kind of in the general same way. You're both healers, okay? And do you notice a shift in the people that you're helping that they're running into some of the same issues that I've been running into? Are some of the people you're working with, you notice a shift in what they're coming to you with and where they're at?
Right. I have. One of the big things that I think a lot of people don't realize is that, as personal as it feels, if you are even the slightest bit empathic, you're picking up on what's happening, whether you're paying attention to it or not, you're feeling it. Right. So that's something that I try to point out to my clients is, just because you're feeling it doesn't mean it's yours. You're picking up on what's happening in the universe, on what's happening in the world, what's happening in this crazy backwards country we're living in right now. When you're picking up on it, regardless of how you feel about it, regardless of your judgment, your side, whatever, I feel like people, because we're so used to now in this environment of taking personal responsibility, right? So what am I doing wrong that I feel this way? You're not doing anything wrong. You're just picking up on what's happening around you. You're picking up on the general anxiety of the world right now. And, when I can get people just take that little tiny step outside of themselves and separate out that part of it, then we can get to work on what they do have control over, what is actually happening in their lives, and not being magnified by this other thing that we set aside for the moment. That's how I've been working with clients with that. But yeah, I mean, everything seems to be amplified everywhere. So with that amplification, it's been a lot more for people.
It has. Yeah. For me, people come and have sessions with me for their own personal growth. So what I do see out of them is periodically they will mention the state of affairs outside. It is deeply rooted and it is embedded in wherever they go. A little thing that I learned through some class somewhere was to ask yourself, is that even mine? Because whether you like it or not, Bob, and I know that, we are all really empathic. I think sometimes being that empath and being that what we call like the rescue dog kind of thing, we want to help people. Like Mr. Rogers says, look for the helpers. That's you and I.
Yeah.
But even still, the people that come to see me are, again, this is the year of the snake. They're trying to shed what's going on. They're trying to improve themselves. They're trying to have a shift of some sort. In their core, yeah, this is huge for them. It's huge for everybody. They don't know what to make of it. And quite frankly, when I got to that point of what do I do with this? The only thing I could do, like our guest or like our one of our visitors said, focus on you. Focus on grounding yourself. And sometimes I'm telling you, it's really hard. And that's why I mentioned the power of now, going right here, right this every single millisecond. When you are in the bliss of yourself, there isn't anything else. There's no past. There's no upset about what is happening now in Minneapolis or now in some other country. It's you right here, right now.
Right.
For whatever that's worth. And it takes concentration and it takes focus. It's not an easy thing. You have to want to do it, and you have to really spend time with yourself. And for me, yeah, shedding all the stuff that doesn't belong to me and shifting in other ways and trying to be a good healer and focusing on what is happening and what I can control is the only thing that I can control.
I love it. One thing I do is I do it through my poetry, which I post a lot of it on Facebook. It does, kind of looking back on it, it does seem to have a universal theme of how we're more the same than we are different. And I try to reach out and tell people to be positive. I'm probably doing it partially for other people, but partially for myself, maybe more than I want to admit. But I do welcome anybody, any of our listeners that feel they need some words of inspiration to befriend me on Facebook. And I love to share my poetry. I love when somebody comes back to me and says, I needed that today.
Yeah.
So to kind of echo what you two are saying is we got to do as healers, which I guess I'm very drawn to healers. And I suppose one reason I am is because maybe in some ways, hopefully I am. Doing what we do is our contribution. And that's what you guys are saying. And I gotta put more emphasis on that instead of like, oh, woe me, oh, woe the world. By putting that positive energy out there, if we're all doing it and we can get other people to do it, I still believe in my heart that will be the force that wins. It's like that MLK thing where he says that statement about, I don't know, something about light can overcome darkness. I can't quote it exactly right now, but I do believe that, and so thanks you guys for reminding me of all of that.
You're welcome.
You're
welcome.
Which also I want to segue into. I noticed lately that I'm very drawn to healers like you two, and there's I just want to ask about that. And I don't know, but I look at the people in my life like that circle, like Bobbi and I have talked about circles before, having this circle of support, of friends, of just being able to walk out in the world and knowing that these people have your back and how important that is. And I just wondered about being drawn to other healers. And then, I don't know, what do you guys think of that?
Well, I'm going to go first this time, I guess. I feel like being drawn to healers, usually it's one of two reasons. Either you need healing or you want to enhance your own healing abilities. And I feel like for you, it's probably the second one. You're drawn to people who share that energy. And also in times when there's mass struggling, as we're kind of going on now, the healers come together naturally. Like it's just a natural thing. We don't even have to really look for each other. We just find each other. Right. So it's because healing is multiplied, right? It's exponential. I almost said existential, which is also true. But it's exponential. You bring two healers together. It's like the healing power of 4.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know what's wrong with my mic right now, but it's really weird. So I apologize for the feedback.
You are fine.
I feel like as more healers come together, regardless of how they do the healing, right? Regardless of how they do the healing, it can be energy healing, it can be shamanic healing, it can be psychic healing, it can be mediumship. There are a lot of different ways that healing occurs. And sometimes just sitting down with a friend and having a cup of coffee is a really good healing. You know, it's not about technique. It's about the energy. It's about the love. It's about how we share that energy with one another. So, man, I got a lot of background noise. I'm the only one here. Like there's a lot of spirit going on right now. Um,
Always.
so, always. But now it's like, but I'm hearing it, and usually I don't see it until I watch the replay. So this is kind of interesting. But I think, if you're drawn to healers, it's probably because you are drawn to add your energy to the healing, to the overall healing.
I love that.
So knowing you how I know you, and as I mentioned before, you are my person. And it has been said, I did ask you that if I die and you're still here, that you would do my eulogy. Because I know you'll say something nice, for God's sakes. Anyway.
Like he's the only one who would say something nice.
Probably,
I mean, he
well,
would do
might.
great. He would do great on a eulogy, but I'm just saying lots of people would have nice things to say.
Well, thank you. So when I call you, you automatically know that something is wrong or that you need to take the call for some reason. I have something to tell you. You always sit down and give me 100% of your attention. And you offer up what it is that you know and how to help. In some fashion, even though you don't have a certification or you haven't gone to Reiki school or shaman school or whatever school you want to go to in the mystery schools, you still are interested in it. And on some level, you are a healer. You have pulled me out of a jam, I don't even know how many times. And you pull me off the ledge, sit me down, make sure that we're seeing this correctly. And when you sit back and the look on your face is you really give 100% of your time and energy. That's a healer, whether you like it or not. But the other part of it is that I think that you are so interested in it because it fascinates you. You don't know how it happens. You don't know why it happens. You just know it happens. And I know you and I have done a number of sessions and you've had some fabulous results and you have no idea how that all happened. But you just know it works. And so the fascination of all of that, and sometimes isn't there some saying about being humble? You are only as humble until you think you're humble. I think you're humble, but you don't know it. And I think you come by the healing arts, very honestly. You don't have any special technique and it doesn't matter. In my purview, what I say about healing is that, there's 50 different modalities that you can do, maybe hundreds. It doesn't matter. Healing is healing. Energy is energy. Sometimes it just depends on how you tweak the energy so that it shifts your view. Your perception of things is really what counts. So the fact that you are so interested in healing and healers, you are part of my tribe. Yeah. And that brings me to another viewpoint. When you find your tribe, that's the only place that you want to hang out. I know a lot of people. I know hundreds of people, doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs, the whole 9 yards. When I started shaman school, there were 26 of us in the class. There were 23 of us who finished the program. 8 of them were men, all very different from one another. We have such a bond, I bet. And we still hang around. And no matter what happens, we're always there for each other. So it's a point of being safe, feeling safe with each other. But you are such a special creature that you love life and you love yourself and you love your fellow man more than the usual characters that hide it. So, all right, to bring a long story short and to bring it full circle, you're a healer in your own right. You love people. You're truly interested.
I like that. Thank you for those nice words. Oh, and I started a eulogy for you. Just so you know. This is a eulogy for Bobbi Jean. He's one of the coolest people you've ever seen. And that's as far as I got. And hopefully I won't have to finish it for a long time.
Well, I'm just curious.
20 years, 30 years at least. 35.
Oh my God. So were you writing that when I was talking? I'm just curious.
After last night you mentioned it, I started it and I just said, I don't want to do this. It's too early to do this. Anyway, just so you know, thank you for that's very nice of you. Yeah. And Kristina, to your point, the power of two or the power of 4 or the power of 28, whatever that is amazing. How exponential it is. Is that the word I'm looking for? What you can do, what you can create, the power of brainstorming, the power of positive, interactive, somewhat non-judgmental, but judgmental, if you're trying to get better. Communication is just incredible. And I think to go down another rabbit hole, I think maybe because of these things, and because of, to your point, 24/7 news and social media and all of that other things, we can point to a lot of things. We have become isolated, right?
Right.
We have lost that togetherness, that community, that brainstorming, and we've lost how powerful that can be. I think that's one of the things, and I don't know how to get that shift back, but I'm always blown away. I do these shows, right? These burlesque shows, which are a real joy to me. But they're all. We don't have. It's not like we got this set stuff. We get together as a group, and we start bouncing ideas off of each other, and it is phenomenal. Like it is so fun. It's almost as fun, if not more fun, than the show itself. Obviously, the execution of the show, seeing the audience pleased, the teamwork we do together, but that creative side of forming what we're going to do is just incredibly, incredibly powerful. And that's what I think, that's what I'd love to see us get back to. It used to be a time whenever you wanted to get something done, you got together as a group and bounce things off of each other. And maybe we're losing some of that. I mean, I hope not. I didn't want to be Mr. Glass Half Empty this show, but what do you guys think about that?
Well, first of all, can I just jump in? There are some people I want to acknowledge who are watching us who I cannot see in this chat, but I looked on my phone because I'm like, I know there are people tuning in. So I want to say hi and thank you so much for your support, everyone. We have Lee, Teresa, Courtney, Debbie. Let's see, who else do we have? We have Tamara, we have Tristan. I can't see all the names, but those people, I can see their names. And for those of you who are tuning in and supporting us on, as we join this All Access Network Television, I just want to say thank you. And it is so much appreciated. Thank you so much.
Very much so.
So now we can jump back to Bob's question, and I don't remember what it was. So I'm going to let Bobbi answer it.
Oh my God. That's so cute. Yeah. Would you refresh me? What were we talking about?
Sure. We were talking about the power of I suppose in a way community, but even more intimately that the power of 1 versus 2 when you get together, and whether you put your energy work together or you put your thoughts together or your creative hats on together, then the power of 4, whatever it is that how that's so much more powerful and unites us so much more, and that how this and the silos that we're kind of in now, and the fact that we're fearful, everything else that goes with it, we're losing that. And I just think that that's so key,
things are set up. I hate going into the government and the politics and all of that. When you separate the people, there, like you said, there's power in people. There's also a real power in touch. We've gotten away from that. We have the phones. We feel like we don't need it. Pretty soon you're doing the death scrolling every day, and things come up and your attitude changes, and then it pulls you further and further apart from society and from where you need to be. That's all by design, unfortunate as that is. And it just happens because we're not together anymore. And then there was COVID. Unfortunately, I had to say the word. But it pulled us even further apart. But if you look at all of that, there has always been a driving force. Even when we were so far separated, there seemed to be an audible cry for more touching, for more togetherness, for more community. And that love for each other is what makes the world go around. And unfortunately, there's people out there that don't want that, because if we gather together, like you said, there's way more power together than there is apart. And when you realize that even though the guy sitting next to you is sort of a shithead, there's probably,
some days that's me. I'm just going to call myself out on it. Some days that's me.
I'm there as well. when you dig down into the reason for them being that way, it is sheerly out of somewhat fear and a lack of, they're just looking for love. And this has taken me years to figure out. You know, I just had a birthday. I'm a little older than the two of you, but my whole life has been spent figuring out all of that, listening to what other people are saying. But it's the power of your tribe. And when you find people that are like-minded, and I can tell you, Kristina will vouch for this, when you find a bunch of people, and especially in the energy medicine field, because we're all intuitive, we all have gifts and stuff that we openly practice. So when you have that binge of all of this energy that is permeating everywhere, the whole room vibrates and you never know what's going to happen. And everyone pretty much loves each other. Mm-hmm. So you're right. The power of community is so powerful. And the more that people that you find that are in that field, the more it grows. And that's exactly what we're supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. Whether you like it or not, you're a healer, you're a light worker, and you see the light and the dark in everyone. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes you special.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm watching the comments on my phone because I'm tuned into my Facebook page on my phone, but it's my other YouTube page that keeps coming up, which is why it says Paramystic Podcast and probably confusing somebody. But you know, there are some comments that are coming up, like The Matrix, Courtney. Gotta love Courtney. She's always, I just love the way she thinks. It's amazing. And Robin and Sal and you know, y'all have joined us and it's so appreciated. Lorena says, I love being part of your tribe. And I just think that that's such a beautiful thing because we are so used to, like you said, the separation that we don't even think about the fact that it's on purpose, right? We just pick a side and run with it. And I feel like the more neutral we can stay, regardless of how we feel, the more neutral that we can stay in our energy, the more that we can help move past this releasing and, oh my God, that snake is shedding skin after skin after skin on a daily basis and moving towards, you know, we can do this because it's all about energy. And once we figure out that it's all about energy and we all get on the same energetic page, as far as we, you know, we are all love. It's not just that we love each other, but we are love. Right? Yes. Bob is just a walking ball of love. You can see it on his face, right? So, yes. You know, there's so much love that's being put out into the world, but if we're not focusing on the love, then we're not growing the love. Then we're growing whatever it is we're focusing on. Yeah. And I think that that's really the key thing. Yeah. So much going on here. The hot water heater can't, what? I missed part of this.
It is a mindful thing for sure.
It is, yeah.
You have to focus.
That's the name of my next poem, The Walking Ball of Love.
Well, good.
There you go.
I think that you gave me a, well, you know, and I started to talk a little bit about the creative side, right? Mm-hmm. And I think there's, again, just to be straight out there, I think with AI and so many other things, and the fact we're getting into our silos and we're not bouncing ideas off of each other, the creative is also suffering. And I think creative is so powerful for many, many reasons. Not only does it nourish and maybe entertain at times, and it's self-nourishing, right? It brings out our passion. But I just also think that it's just kind of like who we are in our hearts. And when I go to write poetry, it kind of comes to me. Like I'll maybe get up, you know, 3 in the morning to pee, like most guys my age have to do. And all of a sudden I'll go back to bed and these thoughts are coming up to me just like, and I don't know, and I want to ask you guys about this too. I don't know where they're coming from. I know it's probably divine and everything like that, but I get these thoughts and I got to put them down. Right. So I put them down and it is cathartic to me. I can't tell you how many people say to me, boy, did I need this today? Not a ton, but enough that it's encouraging, right? Yes. That my instinct that I needed to present to get this out to somebody was there, right? Like that's part of maybe why the thoughts came up to begin with. But yeah, I just think that whole thing with the creative is something that we have to really be cognizant of with the environment we're in too. So my question is, do you guys agree with me? And then my second question is, what do you think is happening when I started getting those thoughts, being intuitive like you are? And then how do you guys tap your creative? Is it something that just kind of comes to you, or is it things that you have to work on nurturing and create and, and getting to?
Well, I'm going to say, since Bobbi looked at me, I'm going to say, I have just recently gone through a period of my life where everything just sort of stopped for a while. And now it's moving again, but that took effort. That took intention. I'm not going to say effort. It took intention, where I went into a meditation. I have what I call committee meetings with my spirit guides. And I called a committee meeting and I'm like, okay, I can't live like this. What are we going to do about it? I need some guidance, and I need some guidance. I can see, I can feel, I can hear that I can move on. I need some guidance. And doing that, and you can look at it however you want to, people have different ways of looking at it. I look at it as a committee meeting with my spirit guides, right? So I light the sage and I bring in the herbs that would be in a sweat lodge, and I do that because that's my thing, right? That's my path. People sometimes look at it as talking to God or connecting with their higher selves, whatever it is. But for me personally, it took a few times of doing that to start feeling like I was inspired again. I picked up doing art, which I have not done in, I don't know, 2 decades maybe, where I picked up.
I've never heard you talk about doing art in all the years we've known each other.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal. Wow.
Yeah, that is a big deal, where I picked up art again, and it's art for me. It's not like anyone's ever going to see my scribblings or, because I'm sure that my 5-year-old grandson does better art than I do as far as visual aesthetics, but it's not about that. It's about getting that creativity moving again. And it's about crawling out from under that heavy cloud long enough to be able to see some sunlight, that's what it has been for me. And oh my gosh, if I flip the camera over to my whiteboard, which is right next to me, you'd be like, the hell are you doing? But what I'm doing is that I am triggering that inside of me. I'm going back to a time when I felt creative. I'm going back to a time in my heart, not even in my mind, because my mind is like forward movement, forward movement, forward movement. But in my heart, I'm going to, I'm not even sure how to say this, but it's like moving into a new dimension for me. It's about taking risks for me. It's about, even if those risks are only in my imagination, a risk is a risk. Our brain doesn't know the difference between an actual risk and a perceived risk, right? So as an example, if I'm on a roller coaster and I'm at the top and it's about to go down and my heart leaps into my throat, I get that same sensation if I'm watching that, right? From like if somebody's wearing a camera and that they're at the top and they're about to go over. My body doesn't know the difference. So I am taking that excitement that I'm creating by taking a little step forward, by writing out ideas, by, doing whatever it is that I do and from whatever I've learned and moving forward with that, that's where the creativity sparks for me, even if nobody else can see it.
Nice.
And it doesn't matter if anybody else can see it or not. It's all yours. Scientifically, Bob, you asked about where that stuff comes from. I would suspect that you are in the brain state, like your theta, alpha, beta, theta. I believe that that's happening. What are we?
Thanks, Gwen. Gwen says her whiteboard makes me smile.
I think that I think most of the time, Bob, what's happening is that you are such a creative person. And the other part of it is you feel free to share it. That's a big deal because there's some of us who have been judged, rejudged, the guilt and shame type of thing, that they're shy about sharing those things. You, on the other hand, are quick to share your gifts with other people. And it doesn't matter if somebody doesn't like it. What matters is that guy who thought that it was the best thing in the world for him today. So I would encourage you to keep going on that. As far as where it comes from, some people channel. Kristina's a channel. I sometimes have been known to channel, whether I like it or not. Being
Explain
a medium.
that a little more. Explain channel a little more to me.
Go ahead, Bobbi.
Well, you guys are so cute. So Kristina channels people.
I
Spirits.
trans-channel. Let me be clear, because
Okay.
there's a lot of different ways to channel. What she's referring to is that I trans-channel. So I move myself out of the way, my consciousness out of the way, and another consciousness comes through using my body and my voice and speaks to people. Okay.
I'm not ever going to do that, just so you know.
But Bobbi has another way of channeling, and there are a million ways to channel. So go ahead, Bobbi.
Right.
Yeah.
So when I'm doing sessions with people, I hear other spirits, maybe messages for my clients. That's being a medium.
Yeah.
One of the things that came to my mind when you were talking is when people, first of all, we have to remember that hate and anger is a secondary emotion. The first one is hurt, it's pain, it's lack of love. So we sometimes have to step back and say to ourselves, the poor guy, if we can have some compassion for people who are really angry. And I can attest to the fact that I have a lot of experience with people that are angry. It's unpleasant. After a while, you run low on your supply of tolerance to deal with that.
Yeah.
And you just don't want to do it anymore. So anyway, I love that you are open enough and smart enough to grab a journal and start journaling that stuff when you wake up and do that. Because when you wake up in the morning, it's usually gone and you have no idea what you've thought about, and it's just physically gone and you're never going to get that back. So good for you to be doing that. As far as creativity, I think you're one of the most creative guys in the world. And for guys, sometimes that's a lot because they're fearful about being judged and whatnot. But keep doing what you're doing. You do a fabulous job, and you never know what Bob's going to post on there. And sometimes it's about the Packers. And sometimes it's about a deep feeling of love for whomever is around. And it's just a beautiful thing.
Thank you. And then you got to put up with my karaoke. For all those that I encourage to become my friend.
You've been warned. You've been warned.
Plus, let me know if you do that. Hey, I saw you on Breakfast with Bobbi. I'm interested in your poems, because sometimes I get these requests and it's like, if I don't know you, but I'm just putting that out there while I'm thinking about it. And a lot of it comes at 3 a.m. and somebody told me that's a magical hour. Have you guys ever heard that before? There's something special about that time.
Yeah.
There's two different viewpoints on that. Number one, at 3 a.m, your organs are detoxing and they're circling around in your body and getting rid of stuff. It's all of the stuff that you put in your body throughout the day, and it's just starting to wake up and get rid of it. The other thing is, it is said it's a spiritual thing. You're being awakened.
Yeah.
It's been referred to as the witching hour. It's right around that time is when a lot of people leave their bodies and move on to their next adventure. That seems to be a really magical time. And I have often wondered, because it seems to be so key in so many different thought patterns or different thought philosophies, I guess, is that really the beginning of the new day? Is 3 a.m. supposed to be 12 a.m.? You know what I'm saying? Is that really the beginning of the day? It's kind of like our calendar versus the 28-day calendar. If we added a 13th month, what is with the time difference? Why has that been manipulated? Why has that been, and because we've all grown up in it, we just accept it, right? It's what we've known our whole lives. We've known a 12-month calendar with wonky days, 28 days to 31 days per month, and it's really interesting to me that the 3 a.m. hour, regardless of your time zone, and that's the other thing, regardless of your time zone, 3 a.m. typically means that's when the magic happens, whether it's the magic of leaving your body, which most people don't look at it that way, but I do. Or whether it's the magic of you wake up inspired. Honest to God, 3 a.m., that's like my bathroom trip every day. Like, regardless, man, I am up and
Thank
in
you for
there.
sharing
Maybe
that.
that's
Yeah.
maybe that's why we're in the same tribe.
Maybe.
More bathroom times. 3
Right.
a.m. 3 a.m. we all gotta like dial in and go.
There you go.
I'm here for you.
I want to read what Gwen just wrote here. Thank you, Gwen. So what does that mean for us that do not sleep well and that are up most of the time at 3 a.m.? Well, knowing Gwen personally, and I mean, she is such a close friend. She's like a sister to me. She's creative 24/7. Like, the woman never shuts down.
Yeah.
Like, she never shuts down.
Yeah.
So Gwen is always, she's got a new idea. She's always implementing something. She's always doing something. She's making something better in whatever aspect. And I know she spent a lot of years working as an EMT. So, you know, she was doing overnight shifts. And I think that, you know, from a physiological standpoint, your body has not gotten away from that, up all night working with people. And of course, I mean, I've talked to people who work in emergency rooms, and I know Bobbi has had a lot of experience too with the medical field, working in psychiatric units, working in whatever. That's when you're busy. That's when you're busy. That's when more people are having their, you know, if you happen to be in an inpatient psychiatric unit, and I've known many therapists and doctors and nurses and whatever who work in those units, that's when you have to be alert, because that's when people are going to start reacting to the energies that they don't understand. Mm-hmm. Gwen is thanks, Al. Gwen is extraterrestrial. Yes, she is. She's extraordinary as well. So, yeah. So I hope I answered your question, because I just sort of started rambling. So.
Okay. No, yeah, you did. Thanks, you guys. And Kristina, I want to go back to you, since we're speaking of the creative and everything.
Yeah.
And Bobbi didn't seem to know this either. Tell us about your art and why that helps you, and not just get back to some of the things you enjoyed so much, but how that affects everything else.
Because it opens me up, and because I am naturally right side dominant, so I'm right-handed. So what I do is that sometimes I'll journal with my left hand, open up the other side of the brain, open up a different channel. Sometimes I will draw or color. I like to color mandalas with colored pencils. That, I don't know what it does, but it calms me down. It calms me down and helps me focus. But I'll do it left-handed sometimes, or I'll go backwards. Like if I'm coloring a mandala, it's my natural instinct to go sunwise or clockwise around it when I'm coloring. But to open up that creativity, I will use my left hand and go counterclockwise. And it I don't know what it does, but it shifts my brain. It shifts my energy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. My artwork is not something that I've ever shared with anyone. And ironically, when I was living on the West Coast, like it just came to me, and I was like doing these interesting in the fact that I didn't find them interesting, but like these angel paintings that were coming through, or chalk that was coming through. And I was like, wow, this looks like, a grade school kid did it. And then I moved back to the Midwest, and there are people who are actually doing these things exactly the way I was doing it. And I didn't know any of these people, but doing it exactly the same way and selling it for hundreds of dollars. And I'm like, huh.
Yeah.
I was doing that too. So apparently a bunch of us got that same sort of creative message.
Yeah, interesting.
At 3 in the morning, probably.
Yeah, 3 in the morning.
It's your try.
Bobbi, what about you? Like, what's your cathartic? What's your thing that you go to that seems to help you with some of the other things you got going on in your life? I mean, obviously the healing is good for you, but is it your cooking? Is it your baking? I don't know. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there.
I do love to cook. A couple of days ago, I made a Puerto Rican pork roast with all these fresh spices in it and all of that. I do, clearly I love to eat as well. So cooking and baking, that is my love language. When I don't know what else to do, I think about making something, either a different type of cheesecake or something. And it's always coming from inside of, what do I have a taste for?
Yeah.
I also do a little painting myself. I haven't done it in quite a while. I learned a technique several years ago. It was called one-stroke painting, and you guys may have heard about it. You take a special brush and you load one color on the tip of one side of the brush and then another color on the other side. And then you load the brush so that it comes up into the brush. And when you paint the leaf, it's all shaded, or the petal or the flower of whatever it is.
Okay.
So
Cool.
I've done that for a while.
Yeah.
I love to watch painters that just go, oh yeah, and this is the tree up here and it's over there. And then all of a sudden it turns into something. And I'm like, I can't even imagine that. So I'll do the one-stroke painting so I can see the leaf and it's done. That's,
Right.
it's a simple way.
Yeah.
I think we have many tribes. I think that you have to find your tribe. What I do a lot is I write with my other hand as well when I'm contacting my inner child to see how she feels and what she needs. And so that for me is creative as well. But I do a lot of centering. And as you mentioned before, we've all been really off balance lately, and just making sure that I come back to center so that I feel balanced, so that I feel like I'm here. And that's the only other tip that I could give someone, is to make sure that you are here. Because a lot of times we tend to leave ourselves in places, and then we're scattered in 100 places, or in the past or in the future.
Yeah.
So for whatever that's worth, being creative, like Kristina says, opens up the other side of your brain. And over time, I think we've been discouraged over doing that, even though it's a fun thing to do. We've been discouraged to keep continuing going forward and pushing on in our business and making more money and going faster and faster and faster. It's so important to come back to yourself and just be with yourself and do the things that feel like make you thrive, which I don't think a lot of us are doing.
I also wanted to add, because I was thinking, actually was coming to me while you were talking, Bobbi. I have started making Native American hand drums again. Yeah, I'm making magic wands for friends. So it's not just like the pen to paper thing that I'm doing. I'm also doing out there, I guess, different kinds of sculptures, if you really think about it, because you're taking materials and turning them into something. So I've been doing that as well. I think opening up that creativity is really helping me to, first of all, heal my inner child, who was always, discouraged from doing that because it wasn't productive.
Right.
But it also helps me because I make these things and then I give them to people, because what am I going to do with all of it?
What a beautiful thing.
How good does it feel to be a giver like that? Like,
it feels amazing, and I love it. Yeah.
I have always just like to see the pleasure on somebody's face when maybe I'm out and about. Let's say, like, I like the vintage clothes shop, if you can't tell. But
green is your color, Bob. Green is definitely your color.
But I like, I'll be at some place and I'll go, my friend needs that.
Yeah.
Like that belongs to my friend. And then I'll get it for them. And then the pleasure that I feel of giving it to them and seeing the look on their face and the personal, like, oh, you thought of me, and that's really cool. And you know what I mean? Like that kind of energy exchange is amazing. So to your point about making all these things for people, Kristina, maybe part of that was your way of saying, thank you for being you. Thank you for being in my life.
Right.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
What a great gift.
Fun.
I love all that artistry and stuff, which I was, again, sort of discouraged or distracted when I was younger and not able to do a lot of that. So I grew up in a family that was very much into cooking but for the masses type of thing. So for me, a gift would be a cake or a cupcake or a cheesecake or something, or some really good food. I invited people over for my birthday, and I made food on my birthday for other people because it made me feel good.
That's awesome. That was actually my Christmas gifts this year. My holiday gifts was, my family. I just made them each whatever their favorite treat is. Except I am going to, call myself out. I have a dear friend whose favorite treat is beignets. And I'm just going to say I failed spectacularly making beignets. I ended up going and buying them for her because it just did not work. But you know what? It was fun to try, and I'll try it again because why not?
Sure.
Because why not?
So,
yeah.
That brings back the theme of like how we try something and maybe we don't get it and we let it go and then we bring it back. Right.
Yeah.
And then maybe we fail and we let it go and we bring it back and we succeed. And it's like, oh my gosh, it feels 3 times as good to succeed because of the times we didn't. Or maybe once in a while you got to go, this ain't happening.
Yeah. This just is not my thing. Yeah.
This is not my jam,
I've only given it one try, so I'm not ready to give up yet.
You're not ready to give up on it. So like, okay, one other thing too, like, and we got talking about how you're coming back to art, Kristina. I'm going to bring up my son, Ian, who's my wonderful son, who's so talented and such an amazing father. I love him and respect him so much. He was a phenomenal musician at a very young age. He's got this natural ability to pick up an instrument and play it, right? Like I like to sing, but I can't make noise out of any instrument. It's like, it's like I try to blow, like my wife has this shell that she does, it's got some Mexican roots in it and she blows it and it sounds great. I do it. It's like, I get weird animals to my door thinking it's mating calls, right? I just don't have it in me. But anyway, I digress. So anyway, my son, unbelievable talent with music. Like he played drums, right? And he was in this jazz quartet. And this was like, he'd be playing and I'd have people come up to me and that, he's black. He's black. And they didn't necessarily know that he was my son. And so they'd say to me, oh my God, that drummer, and he just good, I know I'm gushing about him. In any case, he's a family man now. He's got a couple of kids and he's let music go. Right. And when I saw him play, there was a look in his eyes that he was in the place he was supposed to be. Right. Like, I'm like, man, he is just there's a different vibration on him when he's playing his instruments. Mm-hmm. And he let it go to be a family man. And I'm cool with that. Like, I think, I understand priorities and everything, but I'd sure like to see him get back into it. Right. Without being the kind of dad that's like, hey, you're going to get back into your music. You're really good. I don't want to be that dad, but I do think that like, I saw a different side of him. And so you guys help me out with how do you think I should work with that with my son?
Let it go. Let it go. He'll find his way back to it when it's time.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling.
I agree. I do think that it wouldn't be a bad thing to just mention him, that how much you loved watching him and that he did have a special sparkle. But even still, that may have been something that obviously he came into this life with, that he has some talent and stuff like that. But I believe that he will come back to it. There will come a time when maybe he's going to teach his kids how to do it. Maybe he's, it'll come there.
His son already is doing it. Like,
that's awesome.
A video of his son playing drums or something. I'm like, I couldn't do that. I mean, my son got in an African drum circle. Mm-hmm. He was about 8 or 9 years old, and there was there was elders that were doing this and older people, and he got in there, man, and he got on the drums, and these other drummers were looking like, who is this kid? I mean, yeah, he's got this thing in it's intrinsic. And anyway, I'm digressing.
It's okay.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You know what? We have I try to keep this to about an hour to respect our listeners' time.
Yeah.
But we have gone over that, which is because this has been such a phenomenal conversation. And Bob, I want to thank you so much for coming on and being our first guest on our official show with All Access Network Television. You've been an amazing guest. So again, people get a hold of you by sending you a Facebook friend request. Is that
just like send me a message maybe and say, hey, I heard you on Breakfast with Bobbi. You talked about poetry, or I'd like to make a connection with you. Perhaps we can share that beautiful energy that we taltalked about sharing, and what is needed so much right now in the world.
Right.
And yeah, because like I said, I get these requests sometimes. They're like, who is that? Right. And you never know with all these people trying to sell you something or whatever the case may be.
Yeah,
Right.
I feel you.
But yeah, Kristina, that's a good way to do it.
Okay, awesome. And Bobbi, plug
Yes.
yourself. Plug
Plug
yourself.
myself. You can contact me on Facebook, either Breakfast with Bobbi or Bobbi Klebenow on Facebook. And I will answer your message. You can send me a private message. And in addition to that, thank you so much, Bob, for coming today. It has been really another special episode. You guys are both really phenomenal friends of mine, and I love you both. Thank you so much.
I could do this with you too, even if we weren't filming it.
That's right.
We just sit around and we yak. And to speak to Bobbi, I've done a couple of shamanic healing sessions with her. Oh my goodness.
Amazing. She's amazing.
She is amazing, and I remember when I used to do Reiki with her, her hands would heat up. And I'd like, did you put those on a warmer or something? No. Yeah, she's unbelievable.
She is.
And she's really, really good. So I recommend anybody who has an opportunity to have a session with her. It is very transformational.
Yeah, it really is. And now I'm going to plug myself because, hey, we're all here to do this, right? So you can get a hold of me either through Facebook Messenger at Kristina L. Bloom, through the Breakfast with Bobbi page, through my group page, Kristina Bloom, Your Spiritual Advisor. There's a lot of different ways you can reach me on my website. I'm tired of saying my name here, but KristinaBloom.com. You can make an appointment right from the website. My books are available on there. I've got some classes going on. Lots of fun stuff coming up, and there's going to be more fun stuff coming up that I can't quite talk about yet, but I'm very excited about. And you brought up drummers, so there's a very special drummer in my life who is having a birthday today. So happy birthday to Glenn Bottis, who is also my co-host on Paramystic Podcast. So happy birthday to Glenn and to everyone else who's having a birthday today. And thank you again, Bob and Bobbi. This has been an amazing first show, and I'm excited for our next ones. We are doing every other week, so we're not going to be on every week, but we're doing every other week. It just helps better with our schedules. And man, I'm sorry about the feedback. I don't know what that is. Maybe I'm talking too loud, but thank you again both so much, and we will see you next time on Breakfast with Bobbi.
Thank you all.
Have a great day, everyone.
Guys.
Bye-bye.